Thank you so much, ChristineEss and Zhao. And thank you, Karen and Randy, too, for setting up this beautiful holy space. Oh, and thank you, Soren, for making sure I can be heard on the speakers. Today, our affirmation is going to be, I see the sacred in everything. And let's say it a couple of times together. I see the sacred in everything. One more. I see the sacred in everything. And we're going to go through a few situations where we'll be looking for the sacred. We'll want to see it. Now, how many people, I sent out an email asking people to think of a person who influenced them in their lives. And at least one person brought a photo. Are there a lot of people who did? A couple. Anyway, it's okay because I actually didn't set up the altars for the photos to sit on. But what we'll do is if you did bring a photo, you can show it. We're going to break up into very small groups to talk about our person. If you don't have one, there will be a meditation, which will be an opportunity to find one. But we're all influenced by people. We didn't come and make the whole world by ourselves. We came into a world that existed. We had parents who took care of us, mostly maybe. And we had people in our lives who supported us in ways that got us to where we are here. And if we don't have actual people, you could also pick a fictitious person. At some point in my life, I would have picked Mr. Spock from Star Trek. As being, so some people are influenced, right, exactly, live long and prosper.
Long life.
Yeah. So that would be a good name for a prosperity workshop, live long and yeah. Okay, so looking and finding the sacred in everything. I'm going to tell some stories. The veil is thin. We're going to talk a little bit about the Day of the Dead, which is a way that in Mexico they've managed to turn around their thinking about what it's like to die. And it's not that they don't mourn people who pass, but it's that it's a little like an Irish funeral is one where you celebrate the goodness in the person's life, and this is what they do in Mexico too, is celebrate all the good things the person brought. And you mourn that you can't see their physical body anymore. So I'm going to start us off, though, for seeing the sacred with Jason and the Argonauts. And Jason, the reason I like following Jason and the Argonauts is it's a Greek myth, it's a hero's journey, and it's something that's been carried through thousands of years. People have had to handwrite it or tell it orally for the tradition to carry on to us. And so Carl Jung believes that stories like that are ones that have especially potent analogs in our brain and in our community consciousness. And we'll see. So Jason, last week, he was out on a quest to find the golden fleece, and he got the golden fleece. He got it, it's in his ship, and he's running away. And not only that, he has a girlfriend, he has a wife. He's got Medea, who has helped him do everything, helped him get the golden fleece, is helping him get away. So happy ending. That should be it. We'll have to pick a new myth. But no, as in the Perils of Pauline, something happened. King Aetes noticed that his golden fleece was missing, and he sent his son Absyrtus, who's Medea's brother. Medea's brother Absyrtus is there. And Absyrtus managed to head them off, and there's a scene where Absyrtus is on the deck of the Argo, the ship of Jason and the Argonauts, and Medea is pleading with him, please let us take the golden fleece. Please just let us go. Come on, Absyrtus, you've known me forever. Don't do this, don't do this. And Absyrtus is like, no, I must, I have to. Dad told me to do it. And Jason is standing there, and he's like, when is this going to end? Endless bickering. And he kills Absyrtus. He kills his brother-in-law. Jason!
That's absurd.
I know. I'm sure that's where absurd came from, is from absurdus. So Jason made the first big mistake in his marriage to Medea, killing his brother-in-law. But how often have we done things like this? Your temper gets the best of you, or there are so many mistakes you can make, and it's really hard to forgive yourself. And maybe it's hard for people around you to forgive you. You can see your loved one does something really awful, and you're like, how can I forgive this? And Medea knew what to do. She knew her Aunt Circe had a special talent for forgiveness. And so they went and they sailed to Aunt Circe, had her own island, went and sailed to Aunt Circe's island. And Circe did a powerful ritual and gave them a forgiveness potion where they both drank it, and then they were able to forgive Jason for this awful mistake he made. And so this I think is where you find the sacredness in life. Like, there's nothing really sacred about Jason killing Absurdus, but there is sacredness in being able to forgive, in being able to continue loving even after someone does something awful. And even Jason, we know Jason represents that part of us which is for growth, which is for learning, which is for developing. And he's usually the last one to advocate violence. And so, you can bet he is kicking himself too. And now he gets to forgive himself. So thank you, Aunt Circe. Thank you, power of forgiveness. And this is one of the things we learn, in finding the sacred in everything. When something when you just can't find it, sometimes forgiveness is the key. You forgive it for not being sacred, or you forgive yourself for not being able to find that. I want to tell a story. I actually read it in a book about kindness by Piero Ferrucci. And it's a story of a person who is oppressed by their family. This person really ends up feeling like a victim. His spouse dominates and torments them. Their children make fun of them. They feel a victim and think the time has come for them to go away and find heaven. And so after much searching, they meet an old sage who gives them detailed directions on how to get there. You have to walk for a long time, but eventually you'll arrive. So our hero sets out. During the day, walking, and that night, exhausted, they stop at an inn to sleep. Being precise and methodical, they decide before sleeping to place their shoes pointing toward heaven so as to be sure not to lose their way in the morning. But as they sleep, a little devil comes in and turns their shoes 180 degrees. So their shoes are facing back the way they came. And when they wake up and set off, this time in the direction opposite to the day before, towards the starting point. As they walk along, the scenery looks more and more familiar. They arrive at the town in which they'd always lived, but they believe it to be paradise. How much like my old town paradise looks! Since it's paradise, they love it there and love it immensely. They see their old house, which they think is paradise. It looks like my old house, but it's paradise. The spouse and children greet them. How they look like my spouse and children. Here in paradise, everything looks the way it was before. But because it's paradise, everything's beautiful. The spouse is a delightful person. The children are extraordinary. They're full of qualities that our hero in their daily life never would have suspected to exist. Strange how here in paradise, everything resembles so precisely what was in my life before, and yet everything's completely different. Completely different. So this is, and the way we can do this is sort of the goal of seeing the sacred in everything. doing, appreciative inquiry is something lots of people do. Practicing the presence. Does anybody know about that book or that practice? It's, at least all our practitioners are nodding their heads vigorously. And even others too. It's the book Practicing the Presence was initially written hundreds of years ago by a monk, I believe in France, who just everywhere he went, he talked to God and he brought God with him, and he just felt the presence of God in his life everywhere, and it made his life wonderful. And all kinds of saints have been inspired by this. So when I talk about my magical person, my person who influenced me in my life, mine is my Uncle Walter. He's actually my great Uncle Walter, but everyone called him Uncle Walter, and it's shorter, so that's what we'll call Uncle Walter. And Uncle Walter, back in the day, fell in love with my Aunt Norma. But Aunt Norma was the youngest of a bunch of children for Grandma McKinley. And Grandma McKinley had decided that Aunt Norma needed to stay at home with her to take care of her in her old age. But Norma and Walter were in love. And what they did was they got secretly married. And Norma actually stayed with Grandmother McKinley for many years. It was more than a dozen years. Well, she and Walter got to see each other, and with their secret marriage. It wasn't secret from everybody. It was secret from Grandma McKinley. Grandma McKinley did not want Walter as a son-in-law. She didn't realize he was the perfect son-in-law. How many son-in-laws would be so generous with their wives? But Walter was. And then when Grandma McKinley died, they got to move in together to the home where I used to visit them, which was a tiny little white house with a white picket fence and green trim. It had chickens running around the front yard and bunnies and a huge vegetable garden. And what it mostly had was Aunt Norma and Uncle Walter. But it was only a few months after they moved in together that Aunt Norma had a stroke and she lost the power of speech. And you guys, probably most people have seen Dr. Jill Bolte Taylor's My Stroke of Insight. So she talks about what happened in a stroke, which really helped me understand my Aunt Norma. What happened is Aunt Norma, the way the brain architecture works, the part of the brain that understands language and understands time was what got shut off in Aunt Norma. Now what happened, this also happened to Jill Bolte Taylor. What happened to Jill Bolte Taylor when that got shut off was she was surrounded by an ocean of love. All she could feel was love. It was overpowering. And as she reached and leaned on the wall, she noticed that she could not tell the difference. She could not tell where her body ended and where the wall began. She is in a world of oneness and infinite love. This is something Jill Bolte Taylor really, really enjoyed, but she worked hard to get back her speech. Aunt Norma had about 6 words, and so it was a little weird, but as a 5-year-old, she was the only adult who was like that. But one of the things I can still remember is the love. Like when you walked through the picket fence, you felt an ocean of love, and it sort of spilled over the picket fence out onto the street. And when you went in their house, it was really sort of overwhelming. I had 3 brothers, and we usually bickered. We never bickered at Uncle Walter and Aunt Norma's house. We were just filled, just engulfed by an ocean of love. And Aunt Norma actually lived for many years, but Uncle Walter outlived her. And he kept that ocean of love thing going. He was always happy to see you. He was the best dressed guy in the world. I didn't get that part from him. But he was always happy to see you. He always had a good word for everybody. He could always see the bright side of life. And I loved that. What I loved was that, he was in a situation where he was married to someone, the love of his life, and he couldn't couldn't even live together because she had to be with her mother. But he was like, she's the love of my life, and I get to be married to her. And maybe part of what made her the love of his life is the fact that she felt as devoted to her mother as she was to her husband. She shared herself with the world. So this is that's my person. And I think I'm going to move us to Mexico, where they have an interesting view, an interesting way of thinking about deceased people. So let's get the first slide for the Day of the Dead. So in Mexico, it was in 1909 when this gentleman, this sort of grumpy-looking gentleman with a curled mustache and the boulder hat, his name is Juan Posada, and he was the first one who drew a skeleton wearing beautiful clothes, lipstick, and eyeshadow. And he initially meant it to be sort of an insult, that, it was like fiddling while Rome is burning, that these people don't realize what an awful situation we're in, and they're just like trying to ignore it and dressing up. But not long after he put out that meme into society, people began to take it another way, that this was a nice thing, that even if we're all going to die, why not enjoy life while we have it? Why not enjoy our dead when they're dead? They go on to a better place, and we're sad, but we're also happy for them, and we're happy for what they left. This person here is Diego Rivera. He's the one who did this painting. And Frida Kahlo, I believe she was his wife, she was at least his partner, has a yin-yang sign in her hand, and she is on the other side. So, Mike, next slide. This is the whole painting. It's a dream of a Sunday afternoon in the Alameda Central. And all these people are different famous people from Mexican history. But that's not what's important. What's important is that you can see death is in the midst of them, but death is beautifully dressed up, and they really see the sacredness in death. They really see the upside in death. So we can see the upside. This is a beautiful sacred scene. And now I want to learn every single one of those people, but not today. So next slide. So many of you know I spent December last year in Lake Chapala area in Mexico, and I got to be there for the Our Lady of Guadalupe festival. I still have dozens of friends there, and one of the friends took pictures of their Dia de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead ceremony. And this woman is called Katrina, and that's just the name of those dancing, dressing up as a skeleton. Next slide. And what they have a parade where 50 little girls dress up as Katrinas. This is one of them. Next slide. And 50 little boys dress up as Katrines. And you can see this is a joyful occasion. They really embrace death. One of the things we didn't get a picture of is they go to the graves of people and have picnics with their deceased ancestors. Next slide. So more Katrinas, Katrins. And next slide. I just like that one. It shows one of the things I really loved about Lake Chapala is families are really close, and there's a whole lot of affection that you see in the families and in the community. Next slide. Oh, and angels. Some people dress as angels, which is another thing you'd expect. We love our angels coming and doing us favors and watching out for us, and they have those marching down the street on November 2nd. Next slide. There's another, so many beautiful ways to do the costume. Next. And then they've got musicians dress up in special ways for the musical entertainment. Next. And then they have altars. And what we have is a picture of the people. We don't know how recently deceased they are. It could be, this could be the great-grandmother. And that's just the picture they chose to represent what they want to think about their deceased ancestor. But you see they have decorations, some store-bought, some handmade. They've got their foods, they've got their favorite foods, maybe the favorite food of the people who are deceased, maybe the favorite food of the people who are here to eat it. Next slide. You see, so they're handmade, they're completely individual. And then the last one. Oh, it isn't the last one. There's going to be a couple more. This is the last altar. Okay, so next slide. And then you see, after the parade, they go home. You parade. But you see you've got the Katrinas and skeletons and Katrins and angels. Next slide. And this is about who influenced you. And Jal, I'm going to ask you to help play some music under the meditation so you can think about the person who influenced you. How did they influence you? How are you different than you would have been if they hadn't been in your life? What made them special to you? I'm going to have you break up. We're going to break up into small groups. And what I'd like is for you to be able to convey to others. Others should be in your group should know what is so cool about this person that they've had that influence on you. And what do you remember about them? So let's first, let's start so we'll start a meditation and have a little bit of, we've got a drum beat. Oh, metronome, that's right. Yeah, it's a little fast for the meditation. That'd be good for a sandbox. Perfect. So let's all take a deep inhalation and exhale. And let's first move our attention to our feet and feel our connection deep into the earth. We are living beings and we are children of the earth. We've been on the earth our whole lives, and everyone we know came from the earth. Feel your connections down deep into the earth, through the roots, through the mycelium, through the earth, through the lava, down to the core of the earth. We are all connected at the earth level. And we can feel our connections move all the way to the cosmos itself. And where the roots end, see them as a synapse between the physical and invisible world, between the manifest and the unmanifest. We are the bridge between form and no form. We are connected to the earth, and yet we create from the divine. And allow yourself to put your hand on your tummy, if you'd like. This is the home of our spiritual womb. Whether you have an actual womb or not, you do have a spiritual womb. And this is where our creativity is physically manifested. We are continually created moment by moment. We are held in the flow. The unmanifest here in our spiritual womb, becomes manifest as our divine identity. God as us in our unique and liminal form. This is the space of our divine identity. And now let's move our awareness to our hearts. And we want to feel in our hearts a feeling of gratitude, of love. Sometimes that will just come up from your spiritual womb, or you can think of any family member. In fact, I encourage you to think of your special family member or any others that bring a feeling of love, of gratitude into your heart. And notice how that feeling expands. It fills the heart. It expands beyond the heart and fills our whole bodies. And now it's moving from our bodies into the space between us, the we space where we form a community. It connects all of us here. It connects those of us who are at home, watching this now, watching this at any time. We're all connected in the we space of love, of our hearts, our organ of spiritual vision. And now let's move our awareness into our heads. And we notice that our heads are quieter than usual. There's a certain stillness to them. And we can sit in the stillness and rest. And now, if you like, you can open the top of your head and send your awareness out beyond the body into the universe, to the expanse of God beyond us. And we just breathe into this interbeing that we are, connected to each other, connected to the earth, integral to the design, to the divine. And now, as you bring your awareness back into your body, you'll know who your person is, who you want to talk about within your group, who your person is who's made an impact on you, who's impacted your life, who's made you the you that you are now, that we all love. And we want to know about this person, so we know about why and how you came to be the you we love. And so with another deep breath, we can bring our awareness back into the room. And whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. Thank you so much, Joe. So what I'd like is to take a few minutes to get together in groups of 2 or 3 and share about your person. Share how it is they influenced you. So first, actually, let's find groups.
You want these to be in our group?
Yeah.
We're the opposite.
You 40 might not have enough time to share.
I didn't know this.
Kathy, nice to meet you.
That's it.
Yeah.
My goodness.
So I'll give each person 2 minutes to share.
That's why I want to speak up. Because I need to hear myself. Glad that you joined us today. I've seen your faces before. Have you been here before? One time. Okay, across the street? At the old man? Okay, with Charles. Anyway, we're supposed to talk about I'll start. This man, his name is Paul. And I first got to know him about 2010. I was just learning about spiritualness. And a friend of mine told me that there's this group of people that do outreach to homeless people. And she suggested that kind of something here and so I went to this group that manufactured hospital and Paul was a facilitator. And I was very interested, and I loved the part of it was to go downtown and for
Two minutes. So switch whenever you guys are ready.
Sure. Pick my mom. For better or for worse, we had some time to get used to the idea because she went through so we she's genuine, she's loving. When you're young, you put on this certain thing, and then as you got older, she kind of let go a bunch of that baloney and stuff, and so she saw the same baloney and the same bullshit. And so you got to see like more of the adult version of her and stuff like that, and just, I was really, because she moved from Cuba, then she lived in Florida with a lot of her family, and then she met my dad, and she moved up here, and she's like, I just want to be with him, and this is as good a place as any, and people are like, why didn't she teach us Spanish or any of that stuff? She's like, it didn't matter, people just wanted us to figure out how to do it, so we got the Spanish, and we got some of the food, but just the foods that she liked, and so like, oh, you're Cuban, you know all the Cuban food. I said, well, I know certain things, stuff my mom wanted. And so, yeah, she just, everyone's like, oh, your mom was so loving, she's so awesome. I said, yeah, she was. And I'm sure she doesn't know her name. That's why she called me beautiful and gorgeous and handsome, because she would say that to me. And she says, like, you know all their names. And she's like, I have 3 friends. Everyone thinks I'm the friend.
Okay, so that's another 2 minutes. So 2 more minutes before we're done.
Yeah, we were fishing. You can use that. Perfect. Yeah, that was actually, that was under my seat, but I have one next to my seat.
And I've grown with them, ever since. I lost it.
Well, all right. We're moving to prayer. We'll all get to start that off. Yeah, I'm right here, man.
It's not a daily. It's a body. Think of one. That's my experience.
I was a star student. When I was 10, my mom felt like I was going to teacher. I found that upwards so he had a small number of the kind of special model students who were very talented.
So that is the last of
Thank
the
you.
2-minute cycles. Sorry for the very jarring.
Yeah.
I can play gong better than that, but I'll have to forgive myself. We need to find Aunt Cersei for the forgiveness potion. Anyway, thank you so much. If you're in the middle of things, feel free to find your group and share further. It's always fascinating to be able to share these things. And I want us to remember, to always to always see the sacred in life, to look for the sacred, be willing to forgive yourself, forgive others if you need to, and know that it can be paradise. Wherever you are, can be paradise. There's a way, the story about the person who had somebody trick them by pointing their shoes in the wrong direction, really what they managed to do is trick themselves into tapping into the divine, into forgetting all their thoughts of victimhood. And somehow them being different made everybody else different. Or maybe it didn't. Maybe they just didn't interpret it that way. But this is a way we can bring abundance into our lives. And so I want everybody to say together, I see the sacred in everything. So together, I see the sacred in everything. One more, I see the sacred in everything. Last time, I see the sacred in everything. Thanks so much. So I'm going to talk about, there is a prayer card we can fill out. And Jal, if you can give us some card filling out music. There are two sides of the prayer card. There's demonstrations. So if you have had answered prayer, I encourage you to write it down, because this solidifies the power of prayer in your life, is the ability to write down and document how it works for you. Our critical mind can pretend it doesn't, but we know that it's so. And you can also pray for anything you'd like. Something you don't have, something you do have, anything you like. Our practitioner group prays over them, and I can tell you from experience, this is a very powerful practitioner group. Their prayers can work miracles and have. And so I invite and encourage you to open up for a miracle from our practitioners. And go see Randy if you want, in person. think we can welcome ChristineEss to bring us more beautiful music.
I just wanted to open it up to Jim Monson. He wanted to say, to thank everyone for all the prayers and all the kind words and everything through his whole process. And I see that he seems to be doing a lot better. And I just know the health for him, the perfect function of all systems, that he's doing really well. And so I just want an opportunity to pass on that message for him. If you want to say anything else?
Yeah, really, it was like, so I started this torrid relationship with heart failure back in July. We had a just intense, almost honeymoon in the intensive care unit for about 8 days. It was just delightful. But while I was in there, even coming out of it, I received a lot of text messages and phone calls and emails from a lot of people. And I just want to let you know, thank you, that meant a lot. Big thanks to Dave. I could not have done this without Dave. I hope I never have to do it again.
Yes.
If I do come out of the hospital and go to work too soon, I'm giving you a stun gun. So if I go do something stupid or say something that I shouldn't, which apparently I did, and you just get me. But I really noticed that, a lot of what Dave does is kind of like the invisible man. He's just there for me, even here in Genesis. And so a lot of what he does is unassuming and somewhat uncelebrated. So right now, I have a huge thanks for Dave. Thank you. I'm complete.
All right. So now offering. Our center is supported by God, and we welcome you to be a part of how God's support shows up. If you're on Facebook, please visit our website at genesiscsl.org, or you can text your tithe to 206-800-7595. Let us take a moment to craft our financial gift. All right. So we can take our prayer request and our offering and hold it next to our heart, and so we can say our offering blessing together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am thankful. So now I know Gideon will be coming around to collect offerings and prayer cards. And so while we do that, let's stand and sing, God is my source.
God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, God gives me everything I need. God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need.
All right, so let's now just take these gifts, take these blessings, take these offerings, take these prayer requests, and know that God is right here and right now, always saying yes, yes, yes. It's just a matter of putting out that request, putting out that energy, and knowing that it is approved and stamped with goodness. Yes. And it just shows up in perfect time, in perfect action being, and sometimes we just have to turn our head and say, oh, my prayer request has been granted a long time ago, and here it is right now, and it is good. So thank you, God, and so it is.
So it is.
All right, so thanks everyone for joining us today. Please join us after service for food and fellowship. Wishing everyone a week filled with joy, love, and true connection. Please stand and sing our closing song, I Release.